It's becoming clearer by the day that the relationship between Miss Wanda and her daughter, Letitia, isn't just strained, it's unraveling right before our eyes. What used to be one of the closest, most unbreakable bonds on Love and Marriage, Huntsville now feels like a slow-motion collapse, where love, loyalty, and pride are colliding in the most painful way possible. For years, viewers watched Wanda stand beside Tisha no matter what. She was her fiercest protector, her loudest defender, and her biggest cheerleader. No matter who Tisha had issues with, Melody, Marceau, or anyone else, Wanda was right there in the middle of it, ready to fight her daughter's battles as if they were her own. But somewhere along the way, that mother-daughter bond turned toxic. What used to be unconditional support has started to look more like control, manipulation, and resentment. The recent discussions surrounding Wanda and Tisha have made it clear people are seeing cracks that can no longer be ignored. The same fans who once laughed at Wanda's outbursts and dramatic commentary are now questioning her intentions. They're asking whether she's helping her daughter or hurting her. And the truth is, that question cuts deep, because when a mother and daughter's love becomes clouded by ego and pride, the relationship rarely survives untouched. In the latest conversations making their way online, people are openly dragging Wanda. Posts and videos are circulating, pointing out how Wanda seems more focused on clout than on truly being there for Tisha. Some believe she's chasing attention, while others feel she's still trying to live through her daughter's storylines. And instead of stepping back, Wanda appears to be doubling down, responding to critics, defending herself online, and even shading those who used to be in her corner. What makes this situation even sadder is that Tisha is caught right in the middle. She's a grown woman now, a wife, a mother, and a business owner. But every time Wanda inserts herself into drama, Tisha ends up paying the price. Whether it's feuds with Melody Sherry, conflicts with Marceau, or public backlash from fans, somehow, Tisha always ends up carrying the emotional weight of her mother's actions. It's not that Tisha doesn't love Wanda, she does. But there's a fine line between love and enabling behavior. And as time goes on, it feels like Tisha is starting to see that line more clearly. She's realizing that protecting her peace might mean setting boundaries with the very person who raised her. From the outside looking in, Wanda seems to have built her entire public identity around Tisha's fame. She's been at the center of every major controversy, from the reunion moments to social media spats. But as fans point out, her involvement often overshadows Tisha's growth. Instead of standing behind her daughter, Wanda ends up standing over her, dictating, criticizing, and reacting to every situation with fire instead of wisdom. There was a time when people saw Wanda as funny, the outspoken mother who said what others were too afraid to. But now, that same energy feels heavy. The jokes have turned into shade. The advice has turned into interference. And instead of strengthening her daughter, Wanda's words often seem to tear her down, whether she realizes it or not. People have started to notice that Tisha no longer smiles the same when Wanda's name comes up. In scenes, her tone shifts. The warmth she once had turns cautious. It's as if she's walking on eggshells, trying to respect her mother while also protecting herself from being pulled into another public embarrassment. Because every time Wanda lashes out online, it reflects on Tisha, whether she deserves it or not. And the irony is, Wanda always says she's doing it out of love. She says she's defending her child. But real love doesn't always show up as loud arguments or public rants. Sometimes love means knowing when to be quiet, when to let your child speak for themselves, when to trust that they've grown up. And that's the lesson Wanda seems to be struggling with. The public's perception of Wanda has changed drastically. Fans used to see her as entertaining, now they see her as exhausting. They used to laugh with her, now they cringe at how far she goes. And when people online start calling her out, instead of reflecting, she fires back. It's a cycle that never ends: controversy, defense, denial, repeat. Meanwhile, Tisha keeps trying to balance her loyalty to her mother with the need to evolve. She's been through enough public scrutiny over her marriage, feuds with cast members, and endless rumors. The last thing she needs is to constantly manage her mother's reputation, too. But because Wanda doesn't seem to understand boundaries, Tisha ends up in damage control mode more often than not. Some fans are even saying that Wanda's behavior has become one of Tisha's biggest obstacles. They feel that as long as Wanda keeps inserting herself into the drama, Tisha will never fully be able to stand on her own 2 feet. It's almost as if Wanda doesn't want to let go of the spotlight, even if it means dimming her daughters. And that's where things get really complicated, because beneath all the noise, this is still a mother who loves her child. Wanda might not always show it in the healthiest way, but her heart is attached to Tisha. The problem is that love, when mixed with pride and defensiveness, can turn toxic fast. Especially when cameras are rolling and the world is watching. Now, as more people weigh in online, Wanda's facing a level of backlash she hasn't experienced before. It's not just playful criticism anymore, it's genuine disappointment. People are saying they expected better. They wanted to see growth, maturity, and healing. But instead, Wanda seems to be stuck in the same cycle of drama, unable to break free. And the saddest part? Every time Wanda speaks out or claps back, she distances herself further from Tisha. Because Tisha is evolving, she's learning how to handle things differently. She's becoming more composed, more careful, and more protective of her peace. Meanwhile, Wanda is still fighting the same fights, using the same energy that once worked for entertainment but now feels out of place. The tension between them isn't just about disagreements, it's about identity. Wanda has always been used to being the loudest voice in the room, but now her daughter is finding her own. And when that happens, it forces a shift. The power dynamic changes. And for a mother like Wanda, that shift can feel like rejection. So instead of embracing Tisha's independence, Wanda seems to push back, trying to reclaim her role, trying to remind everyone who she is. But in doing so, she risks losing the one thing that truly matters, her daughter's trust. At this point, it's not about who's right or wrong. It's about whether their bond can survive public scrutiny, pride, and years of unresolved tension. Because if Wanda doesn't take a step back soon, she might find herself not just losing public sympathy, but losing the closeness she once had with Tisha for good. The truth is, no one wins in situations like this. The audience might find entertainment in the drama, but for Wanda and Tisha, this is real life. These are real emotions, real frustrations, and real wounds that don't heal overnight. And maybe that's what makes it so tragic, because beneath all the shouting, the posts, and the opinions, you can still see traces of love. You can still sense that both women care deeply about each other. They just don't know how to love each other in this new chapter, one where Tisha wants peace, and Wanda still wants control. The people watching can sense it. The distance. The shift. The heartbreak hiding beneath all the attitude. And it's left many wondering, will Wanda and Tisha ever find their way back to each other? Or has the damage been done beyond repair? Because sometimes, love isn't enough to fix what pride breaks.